The bridge stretched across the darkness of the evening with people walking to and fro. Then I saw him. Hands shoved into his jacket pockets, head bowed, feet shuffling like the weight of the world was dragging him down. I'd seen that walk before. Not the carefree walk of a late-night wanderer or the hurried pace of someone running from trouble. No, this was the slow, deliberate march of a man who had made up his mind. I didn't call out. Not yet. Sometimes, you had to wait for the storm to break before you could offer an umbrella. He paused at the railing, fingers grazing the cold metal, eyes locked on the inky abyss below. I took a deep breath and stepped closer. The air smelled of salt and rust, thick with the whispers of untold stories. My shoes scraped against the worn concrete. He didn't flinch. That worried me. The ones who jump don't always hesitate. "Nice night for a swim," I said casually, leaning against the railing beside him. He glanced at me, eyes hollow and rimmed with exhaustion. "Who are you?" His voice was rough, like gravel dragged across glass. "Just a guy who knows that the breeze up here is cold, but the water down there is colder." He smirked, but there was no joy in it. "What do you want?" "To chat. Unless you are busy. Now grab a cup of water, drink and relax. The story is just unfurling. Please, I hope you have subscribed already." "Thank you for subscribing. Now, back to the story." The man snorted softly, shaking his head. "Funny. I don't feel like chatting." I leaned forward, elbows on the railing. "I get it. Talking's exhausting when you're already drowning inside." His eyes flicked to mine, curiosity faint but present. "You come here often?" "More than I'd like. Let's just say this bridge and I have a complicated relationship." He turned to face me slightly, the corners of his mouth twitching as if deciding whether to laugh or ignore me. Silence stretched between us, thick and fragile like glass about to shatter. "Why do you care?" he finally asked, voice barely audible over the distant hum of traffic. "Because I've been where you are. Maybe not the exact spot, but close enough." He chuckled bitterly, a sound that had more pain than humor. "Doubt it. Try me." His knuckles whitened as he gripped the railing tighter. "You ever watch your life crumble while everyone around you pretends not to see? Or worse, they see and just don't care?" I nodded, feeling the weight of his words. "More times than I can count." His brows furrowed. "Why do you keep coming here, then? Hoping to finally let go?" "No," I said softly. "Hoping to stop someone else from letting go." His eyes widened for a moment, then softened. "That's insane." "Maybe. Or maybe it's just stubbornness." He looked back at the water, and I followed his gaze. The waves crashed softly against the pillars, each ripple a reminder of how easy it was to disappear. But disappearing wasn't the answer. "Not tonight. You don't even know me," he whispered. "True. But I know pain when I see it. And no one deserves to face it alone." He let out a shaky breath. "I don't know if I can keep going." "Then let me carry that weight with you, even if just for tonight." For the first time, his shoulders relaxed ever so slightly. The wind howled around us, but between him and me, there was only quiet understanding. His hands clutched the railing tighter, knuckles white against the cold metal. I saw the shift in his stance, that telltale lean forward. My heart froze, but my body didn't. In one swift motion, I grabbed the back of his jacket and yanked him backward. "Let go," he shouted, twisting violently in my grip. "Not happening," I gritted out, arms straining as he struggled. His elbow jabbed my ribs, but I held on. "Get off me." His voice cracked, but there was more anguish than anger in it. "Not a chance," I shot back, planting my feet. "You wanna jump? You're gonna have to take me with you." He sagged for a moment, breath ragged, before trying to break free again. We grappled awkwardly, locked in a desperate tug-of-war between life and death. "Why do you care?" he hissed through clenched teeth. "Because I've seen too many people win this fight," I gasped, tightening my grip. I'm not losing another. Finally, he slumped against the railing, chest heaving, tears streaming down his face. I didn't let go. She was perfect, he whispered hoarsely. Gorgeous. Thought I'd hit the jackpot. I loosened my hold just enough for him to turn and face me. Let me guess, the jackpot wasn't what it seemed. He barked a bitter laugh. Yeah. She cheated. Took half of everything. I thought that was the worst of it. I didn't say a word. I knew there was more. There always was. Then I found out, my kids weren't even mine. Ya Allah, I muttered, the weight of his words crushing down on me. Yeah, he whispered, eyes hollow. Ya Allah indeed. I exhaled slowly, keeping my voice steady. That's brutal, man. He looked at me, eyes pleading. So tell me, what's the point of all this? Why keep going? I held his gaze. Maybe the point is that you survived. You are here. And now, you get to choose what comes next. He let out a shuddering breath, shoulders trembling. I don't even know who I am anymore. I leaned in, voice firm but gentle. Maybe that's the point. You get to decide now. Start from scratch. Build yourself, piece by piece. He stared at me, searching for something, hope, maybe. Or an answer. Slowly, his fingers uncurled from the railing. I stayed close, just in case. It's not easy, I added softly. But it's worth it. He nodded, barely, but it was enough. I didn't move away. Not yet. He rubbed his face with both hands, shoulders still trembling. I stayed silent, watching, waiting. This moment was fragile. One wrong word, one careless move, and I could lose him. I don't know how to start over, he whispered finally, voice barely audible above the soft hum of passing cars. Everything I knew, everything I built, gone. I nodded, understanding. Yeah, it feels like that now. Like the world stripped you bare. But trust me, there's freedom in that you. He let out a hollow chuckle. Freedom? Feels more like punishment. Maybe. But think about it, no one owns you anymore. No one's expectations. No lies. No pretending. Just you, raw and real. And from here, you can build something that's yours. No one can take that from you. He stared at the dark water below. What if I'm too tired? My hand rested on the railing beside his. Then rest. But don't quit. His breath hitched. I don't know if I can. I leaned closer, voice firm. Then let's make a deal. You come back tomorrow. Same time, same bridge. If you still feel like this, I'll be here. We'll talk. Hell, we'll sit in silence if that's what you need. Just, give tomorrow a chance. His eyes met mine, searching, questioning. Why do you even care? Because someone once cared enough to stop me, I admitted quietly. And I hated them for it. Until one day, I didn't. He blinked, processing my words. Slowly, his grip on the railing loosened. Relief flooded through me, but I didn't show it. Not yet. You'll be here? He asked softly, almost childlike in his vulnerability. Every damn day if I have to, I promised. The wind howled around us, but it no longer felt menacing. He stepped back from the edge, shoulders still slumped but no longer in surrender. I didn't move until he did. One step. Then another. Away from the brink. I walked him off the bridge, silent but steady beside him. As we reached the end, he turned to me. What's your name? I smiled faintly. Does it matter? He nodded. Yeah. It does. I hesitated before offering, Idris. Thanks, Idris. Anytime. He shoved his hands into his pockets and walked away into the night. I stayed, leaning against the railing, heart still pounding. Another soul pulled back from the edge. The bridge stretched out behind me, dark and endless. But tonight, it hadn't won. Not tonight. I am sure you really enjoyed this story. Please like and subscribe to this channel for stories like this. Also, leave a comment. Tell me where you are watching from.